The Agenda in the Summer with Nam Kiwanuka is made possible through generous philanthropic contributions from viewers like you. Thank you for supporting TVO's journalism.
From the Prairies to rapper stardom, I'm Nam Kiwanuka. Tonight on The Agenda in the Summer, we revisit our conversation with Polaris Music Prize winner Cadence Weapon on his memoir, and it's also a history of hip-hop plus a playlist. The epicenter of Canada's music scene may not be Edmonton, Alberta, but that didn't stop Rolly Pemberton. In his new book, we find out how he became Cadence Weapon. He won the Polaris Music Prize in 2021, was shortlisted for it in 2006 and 2012, and was Edmonton's Poet Laureate. He was recently named as the inaugural Atkinson Artist. The memoir is called Bedroom Rapper, Cadence Weapon on Hip-Hop, Resistance, and Surviving the Music Industry. And we're pleased to bring some back to TVO's airwaves tonight. Hello, sir.
Hey, how's it going?
Loved the book. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So the book is not just a memoir, but it covers like the history of music in Canada and the UK and the US. You also give like a reading list at the end of the book and music recommendations. Why did you approach the book like that?
Yeah, so I really wanted the book to be more than just about my career. I didn't want it to be just like, you know, I did this, I did that, I did this. I wanted it to be a resource that people could come back to and use in multiple different ways. You know, that's just kind of the way I am as an artist too. Like I'm always recommending things to people, and I wanted to have that feeling in the book. And
did you like, because there is a lot of research about the different types of music. You're talking about hip hop, you're talking about house music, you're talking about grimes. Did you want to maybe like have a different voice about the music scene from the perspective of a young man from Edmonton, Alberta?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like there has never been a book like this before. There's never been books written from this perspective, a young black man from Edmonton who has a dream of being a rapper and it ends up being successful. So that was really important for me to show how that happened and talk about, you know, the history of prairie rap, because there's a lot of it out there. You know, I was very influenced by artists from Saskatoon and Winnipeg, and I just wanted to tell their stories as well.
We're going to come back to that in a little bit, but the subtitle of your book is Resistance and Surviving the Music Industry. What were you resisting?
Well, I feel like my whole career has been feeling like an outsider. You know, the kind of music I make rap music that's pretty experimental and different. And I always felt like I was coming up against a lot of resistance, especially being a rapper from Edmonton. And then I'd come to Toronto and people would say like, oh, where are you from? And I say Edmonton, they'd be like, oh, sorry to hear that.
They did not.
Yeah, they did. Or they'd be like, oh, where's that?
In Canada.
Within Canada's limits, yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm from London. I kind of get that a little bit from London, Ontario. But you also say that you were surviving the music industry. In what ways were you surviving the music industry?
Well, you know, I had some issues with my old record label where, you know, they basically for the first 10 years of my career, I wasn't seeing any of the proceeds, any of the money from shows, music I was selling, and there was just a lot of, you know, the kind of industry rule number 40/80 kind of shady music industry stuff.
Record company labels are shady?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But why did you keep going? Why did you keep making the music? Because what you were talking about is referred to as a 360 deal, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So I had signed a 360 deal when I was just a teenager. You know, I had my mom and the lawyer look over it, but, you know, at that point in my life, you know, I didn't really have a lot of leverage, you know, and I think this is a situation that a lot of musicians go through when they're first starting out, and they feel like, you know, they can't push back against things, or they'll say no, and, you know, that's what happened to me.
And the music industry is pretty small in Canada, so it feels as if someone, you have to kind of make right with people, and where would you know how to fight back, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, for me, I didn't really have the, you know, assets or information as to who to even talk to about some of these things, you know? When I was first starting out, you know, there was no YouTube. You know, like it wasn't easy to just access information.
And you can call people out on Twitter.
No, there's no Twitter. Like it's trippy, you know, like I started out as a child in the early 2000s, and to come as far as I've come today is something I'm really proud of.
You write about some painful moments too in the book. Did writing this book allow you to be more vulnerable than you would be in your music?
Yeah, it was really important for me to be as vulnerable as possible and to, really lean into moments where I felt uncomfortable. Where I'm talking about something that was, really painful in the moment. I'm like, oh, I don't really want to write about this. Those were the moments where I was like, I have to write about it, and in the end, it ended up being really cathartic for me.
In what ways?
Well, it felt like I was able to move beyond some of the things just from writing them down, especially the stuff with my old label, but even just small mistakes I've made along the way and feeling like they're bigger because like you blow them up in your own head, but then you write it down and you're like, actually, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Did you learn anything about yourself through the process?
Definitely, yeah. I think the main thing I learned, and I think this is a takeaway people will have from the book, is that you're capable of more than you think you are. I think when I lost my record deal, I didn't have like a publisher, I didn't have, PR, I had none of the stuff that you need to be an artist. And I had to start from ground zero. And it was like, I looked up and from the bottom and I realized, I didn't die.
It was overwhelming, but you...
I was still alive and I'm still able to work. So I just did everything DIY. I just went super hard. I started booking my own shows, my own festivals, reaching out to labels myself. I just did everything. And I didn't know I would be capable of doing those things. But just, out of necessity, when I did it, I impressed myself with what I was capable of.
Because I think, too, I think some people might look at you and say you're a young guy. Maybe they have this idea that when you're writing memoir, you should be maybe, 70, 80, in the late part of your life. But you had so many moments in this book where you could have been a bit, vindictive. But you weren't. You actually were very self-reflective. You kind of called yourself out a few times. What do you attribute that to?
Yeah, I think one of the big things when I was writing this book is I didn't want to be settling scores. I didn't want to be, mean-spirited. I think for me, I really wanted to approach everything from a place of empathy and really think of the other people involved. And I wanted to incorporate as many people from my past as I could and bring people along, because this story isn't just my story. It's the story of the music scenes that I was a part of and the community that I'm a part of.
I want to share some of your music with the audience. This is from the Polaris Prize winning album, Parallel World, and the song is called Eye to Eye. Sheldon, please roll.
Don't see eye to eye, yeah. I play ball like a prospect, they still look at me like a suspect. Look at me, they see conflict. Look at me, they think combat. Got a contract off a compact, got a contract off my concepts. Look at me with such contempt, squint like they need contacts. See me, they see the wrong path. Stare down, they're scared now. Officer, they wanna call now. In the park now, in the dark now. They watch the way I walk now. Don't really wanna talk now, wanna see me on lockdown. Yeah. Thank God I made it home today.
You were vibing to it in the preview while we were playing the video.
Yeah.
Is it weird to see yourself on video?
No, I like my own music. I made it. So I just get excited when I hear it.
Well, you talked a little bit about how you had to learn how to do a lot of things on your own, and in the book you write about a time when you were profiled at Maclean's magazine, and the writer described you this way: but between touring, he still works out of his bedroom. It's the revenge of the amateur. Through the portal of the home studio, the bedroom is a mouse click away from the big time. This bothered you, but you called the album Bedroom Rapper. How come?
Yeah, I think at the time I was really angry because, I recorded this in a real studio. I felt like it was a way of saying I was an amateur, that I was not a professional. I wasn't, it wasn't as good as what, bigger artists would make, whatever. But I think since then I've used it as a bit of a rallying cry, because I feel like I was one of the first people of a generation where now you look today, everyone makes music with their MacBook, everyone makes music using GarageBand and things like this, and it's way more common. But back then I was the only person I knew who was doing it. And it's just, it's a part of how I blazed my own trail.
But I think sometimes now if someone called you a bedroom rapper, it wouldn't be like a big deal, right?
Yeah, no. I think people get it.
Yeah, they get it now. You write about growing up in Edmonton, and your family was one of the few Black families in the neighborhood that you lived in. You write that when you were outside, you saw the world in a different way than when you were at home with your family. You describe it this way: but then I'd leave the house, and all anyone wanted to talk about was Katie Lang, and it felt like being stuck inside a snow globe, seeing the blurry edges of a more vibrant world calling to me from the other side of the glass. What was it like to grow up in an environment where you were constantly reminded of your difference, but you had to figure out how to belong?
Well, it was very lonely. I felt very isolated when I was younger, and it was really hard to find myself because, other than my family, I didn't have like a big community to draw from. And I think that's really what drew me to music and art, is just finding like a sense of catharsis and, just finding an outlet for the feelings that I was having.
Well, how did you find yourself in rap music?
Well, I would listen to rap music and it was just like, escapism. It was this thing where, you could be anything that you wanted to be. I didn't have to just be like, the only black kid in my elementary school in Edmonton. I could be, like a superhero. I could, it was just it was like a fun exercise. And the more I got better at it, the more fun it would be, So it became like this word game that I just kept going with, and to the point where it was just like people were taking notice of it.
I think sometimes, like we talked about this before, when people hear rap music, they have these thoughts of what it is. It's bad. It turns kids bad. And why do you listen to it? What did you connect with that music form?
Rap music I think is really beautiful. I mean, I grew up with it. My dad was a hip hop DJ, and so I just grew up in a library of rap music. And for me, I think it's just one of the most progressive styles of music in the world. It samples and references all different genres of music, and it's like this cultural sponge for ideas. And I feel like it's just one of the best tools for sharing information. Like I feel like you can learn a lot from a rap album if you're open to receiving it.
You mentioned your dad. Your dad was a celebrity in Edmonton. He had a radio show, and you write that your dad didn't live long enough to see the rise of the superstar DJ. You also write that other kids befriended you just so they could come to your house and hang out with your dad, but that you always felt like you weren't really what he was hoping for in a son, and that you never had the opportunity to show him who you were. What's it been like to navigate that loss and to make peace with his death while dealing with the challenges of growing into adulthood?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I was really shy and reserved and nerdy, and my dad, he was always the life of the party, and he was very extroverted. They used to call him Broadway. Like he was a very big personality, and there weren't a lot of people like that in Edmonton back then, and people just gravitated to him, and so it was almost like I was kind of living in his shadow for a long time when I was younger, and when he passed away, in a weird way, it ended up opening up something for me, where it felt like I could be myself fully, and I didn't have to worry about what he would think or anything like that. It was definitely hard, but I feel like I found myself eventually.
It's kind of like his death taught you how to live. Have some water.
Yeah.
You dedicated the book to your mom. Tell us about your mom's influence and her support.
My mom is my biggest fan by far. She, is an archivist of everything that I do. She's got all these, what are they?
The newspaper clippings?
Yeah, she's got every newspaper, every magazine clipping. Like
the microfiche?
No, seriously, like going to like the reference library of Cadence Weapon,
What?
And just from the beginning, like she saw my talent. And when I actually dropped out of university, I went to Hampton University in the States, and I was like, I want to be a rapper. This is important to me. She was just like, I'll give you a year to make something happen with this. Otherwise, you have to go back to school. And that was all I had to hear. And I made it happen in the end.
How did she react to the fact that you dedicated the book to her?
Oh my goodness, she called me up. I didn't tell her before. I let her just see it. And she was just sounded so proud, and she was kind of teary sounding. And I mean, who else? It's like the person who gave me life, and also the person who really has encouraged me more than anybody in my entire life. It's like this book wouldn't be here without her.
Without her. So the book goes into great detail about how you fit into a music scene, like a music scene that was pretty narrow when you were growing up in Edmonton. And I was hoping that you could read this passage for us.
Oh, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right on. Years of listening to rap anthems about every corner of New York and Los Angeles left me longing for a similar song about my hometown that my friends could relate to. It was a no-brainer that I should make a song about Edmonton. But what aspects of the city would I rap about? There wasn't much in the way of civic pride when it came to our town. It was a country music outpost on a mainstream level and home to a few decent hardcore bands on the underground side. Certainly nothing in the rap world. Edmonton was most famous for having a really large mall and being home to Wayne Gretzky's Oilers dynasty. In many ways, it's Canada's answer to Denver, a nondescript, frigid capital city in a flyover province.
But when you won the Polaris Prize, you said, and I quote, "The Prairies have something to say." And in the book, you write that I actually saw and heard myself in the rap I found in the Prairies. So what do the Prairies have to say?
We've got a lot to say. You know, it's like we have our own culture there. You know, I think, you know, there's such a separation in Canada where people don't really know about the other side. You know, it's like I talk to people who are from Toronto and they've never been west of Thunder Bay. You know, and this is a thing that happens to me. People always get me mixed up. It's like, oh, you're from Calgary? Are you from Winnipeg? It's all the same to people.
It's not Toronto.
No, it's just not Toronto, basically, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, there was a lot of rap that was coming from Toronto that inspired me, you know, like, shout out to everybody on Northern Touch, you know, but there was nobody from Edmonton, there was nobody from the Prairies.
But we notorious, ain't nobody can.
It was a banger. I mean, huge tune.
But it was just kind of like the GTA.
Yeah, it was like, this is Toronto vibes.
Right.
You know, and then, you know, once I learned about music that was from the Prairies, you know, it really blew things up for me. You know, shout out like Pipskid, John Smith, you know, these artists really inspired me to go forth with my own vision of what prairie rap could be.
How did you come to see Edmonton in yourself and not just yourself in Edmonton?
Yeah, I think I realized that there wasn't a lot of existing, you know, music and culture that was open about being Edmontonian. You know, like I felt like it was the kind of thing where, you know, films will come and pretend to be in New York when they film in Toronto. Well, that's what it felt like for artists coming from Edmonton, is that, you know, they'd be reluctant to be like, I'm actually from Edmonton, you know? And I wanted to, you know, get away from that. I wanted to just be fully, openly from Edmonton, and I wanted to really show our culture, you know, because I felt like it was on par with, you know, New York and LA and all these places that are always in every movie and every TV show. It's like, why not Edmonton? You know?
Well, you were a Poet Laureate of Edmonton. When you were chosen, in the book you explain, it was as much about choosing me as choosing what I represented. It was a bombastic, controversial choice. Why did you phrase it like that? Why was it a bombastic and controversial choice to choose you?
Well, at the time, you know, the idea of a rapper being a poet, you know, wasn't as mainstream a notion as it is today. You know, it's way before Kendrick Lamar won the Pulitzer Prize. You know, like back then, it was still people saying rap is crap, you know, and people really didn't get it. You know, I felt like when people started talking about it on the news, it was with a smirk. You know, I'd be on certain news shows in Canada, I'd be in the newspaper, and people would kind of almost make fun of the idea that what I was doing was actually poetry. You know, and that really pushed me to, you know, fully embrace my artistry. You know?
Really? Because
Yeah.
at the time you were the youngest, you were only 23, and you were the youngest Poet Laureate in the world at the time. And the previous Poet Laureate of Edmonton kind of shunned you, and you, as you said, on the news, you know, people on the national news were kind of making fun of it. How did you navigate that time? Because I'm sure it was like a happy moment for you, but it must have also been very painful.
Yeah, there was a lot of scrutiny, a lot of pressure, but it didn't really bother me that much. You know, I ended up just internalizing it and using it as fuel to just go way harder with my music, go way harder with my lyrics and my poetry. And I wanted to make something, you know, that if you were to put it on the page, it'd be unassailable, you know, and that's, you know, I wanted to have lyrics that were good enough to put in a book, and now we have a book.
But when you think back, now as you've gotten older, does it still blow your mind that you were Poet Laureate at 23?
No, I mean, that's just my experience.
You're just like, yeah, that's just another day in Broly's life.
I mean, you know, when they first asked me, you know, when the person who nominated me, Trevor Anderson, he was like, Poet Laureate. I'm like, what is that? And when I found out, oh yeah, it's, you represent the city, and it's like, well, I'm already doing that with my music, so who better than me, right? So in my mind, it made a lot of sense, but it was everyone else that was kind of confused about it.
You've talked in the past about how Joan Didion was an influence on when you were writing the book. In what ways?
Yeah, so she is a really amazing writer of essays. She was, and she just passed away. But I was really inspired by the way that she talks about scenes in different cities. Like, she has an amazing piece about Haight-Ashbury scene in San Francisco back in the 60s and 70s and stuff. And I really drew from her style, the way she was really analytical about different characters and different personalities, and really gave them life with the way she wrote about them. And I really used that a lot when I was writing about Montreal and all my friends and the characters that I've come across.
Well, the last time we had you on the program, you talked about civic engagement and wanting to get people in the community out to vote. Here's a clip from you on our program in October 2021. Sheldon, please roll.
My idea is let me get people more engaged and more excited about voting who don't really think about it, or the very many people who don't vote, and they don't see that this is actually something that's just changed so many lives all around the world. The fact that you're able to your voice can be heard, and if you vote, you can complain about the results later. I'm just a really big voting advocate, and I think I'm really excited about that part of putting together these voter registration events. There's going to be bands and stuff. There, people with iPads registering people. I just think it's really exciting, especially in a neighborhood like mine or Parkdale, places that are just very diverse. That the more engagement that we can have, the more we can have leadership that reflects the people in the communities.
The recent Ontario election saw the lowest voter turnout ever at around 43% of eligible voters cast a ballot. Did that surprise you?
That did not surprise me at all. And then there was a reason why I didn't really engage that much with that election. I just felt like,
It seemed to surprise a lot of people.
Didn't surprise me. Because, a lot of people, they vote for the leaders, and there wasn't really viable alternatives that were presented. I feel like, the other parties that didn't win, outside of the Green Party, which I think actually really, Mike Schreiner, really brought a lot of energy. But I think the other people who've since stepped down, they failed to energize people,
Do you feel that the work that you want to do around registering voters is now more important than ever?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it's not even just about registering people, but it's more about getting people more excited about, seeing their vote actually matter. Because I feel like, the more we have elections like this where it's just people, a few people drag themselves to the polling place, I think it really discourages people. I think, when you see polling actually ahead of the election that's saying, it's already in the bag, you don't even have to go out and vote, it discourages people. I think the only thing that can really compete against that is having people who are really engaging with voters, really connected to the community, and really caring about what people who follow their party believe in. Especially when it comes to someone like a party like the NDP. I was just disappointed by, the lack of inclusivity with the party.
Are you in plans already to do that for the upcoming municipal election in October?
I've got some ideas, yeah. I think, I'd like to have some events going. I mean, it's been obviously crazy with the book and everything, but that is my big passion project, is I want to have some of these events, connecting people with progressive candidates, because I think the only alternative we have now, since the provincial election went the way it did, is to make as much change as we can within the city of Toronto.
And to get more voters engaged at the municipal level.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Well, you have been recently named as the inaugural Atkinson Artist by the Atkinson Foundation. What does that entail?
Okay, so being the Atkinson Artist, it's a fellowship where the Atkinson Foundation is going to be supporting different initiatives and ideas that I have, whether it's related to politics, but also just any artistic ideas I have, they're going to be supporting going forward. So, it goes with my writing, performing, public speaking, just and collaborations going forward, whether that's with different communities or different, entities or artists. They're going to be in my corner for the next 3 years working on this stuff. And this is also something that, it extends back to when I actually first got connected to them at this conference, that in 2019. And that was the first time I met them. And we've stayed connected ever since then. And I just feel like this is just such a really amazing collaboration that we got.
It's a 3-year term, as you mentioned.
Yes.
What issues do you hope to highlight in that term?
Yeah, I think the main thing I want to focus on is, the rights of musicians. I feel like we, artists and musicians are the original gig workers, and I feel like I really want to highlight the issues that we face,
like
because
decent work, decent pay.
Decent work, that's one of the main foundations of what I'm going to be working on, especially because I think a lot of musicians aren't aware of how exploited they are, and I think this is something that's passionate to me, obviously, if you read what I talk about in the book. But that's I think one of the main focuses.
So you've had a really busy year. The book is out. You're doing festivals throughout the summer. You're going to be doing the municipal election in October. What else are you going to be doing? A lot of people have suggested to you that you consider running in politics. Is that something that you would ever consider?
I think at some point. I think so.
Care to tell us what party?
Oh no, how about this? It's whatever party would believe in me enough and is open to new ideas.
And just to go back to the book, what's the reaction from the book been?
Oh, it's been amazing. I've been amazed by how much people are seeing themselves in this book. Something that before this book was even a reality, the idea of, a kid from Edmonton, black kid who's a rapper, wants to write a book about his life. People would have said that was a niche idea, and I hope, I'm not the last person with this background, And
what's it been like to be able to celebrate the book launch with people after, I know you were touring last year. What's that been like to get back on the road after the pandemic?
It's a dream come true, honestly. It's, everything that I hope for. I wrote this book for 2 years, I worked on it, and the whole time I was hoping, I hope I can go back to Edmonton and see my family and friends, and I hope I can, throw a big party in Montreal. It's like bring the spirit of how I talk about all these communities in the book in reality, and I was able to do that.
Well, congratulations. I learned so much from the book, and I appreciate the playlist at the back and the reading list at the back, because you mentioned a lot of people that I haven't heard of before, and I appreciate it. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, more blessings. And that is tonight's agenda in the summer. I'm Nam Kiwanuka. Thanks for watching TVO and for joining us online at tvo.org, and we'll see you again next time.
The Agenda in the Summer with Nam Kiwanuka is made possible through generous philanthropic contributions from viewers like you. Thank you for supporting TVO's journalism.
The Agenda is always on. To catch up on conversations from this week or any week, visit our website, tvo.org/theagenda, or our YouTube page at youtube.com/theagenda. It's all there for whenever you want to watch.